So today we have actually, as all of you will see, we got a brand new building. We finally moved in. First Choice did an excellent job of finish everything. It's beautiful. Pete's got a nice new office. Sarah's got a new office, and we have our podcast upstairs. That's why this nice big picture windows right behind me. So today, what we're gonna do? Talk about identity. I actually, this is going to be on the fly.
Somebody forget
I-
their homework.
I figured it would end up that way. Like I've
Yeah.
been thinking all week, like I should say something. Nah, they're all grown men. I ain't gonna sit there and hound it. So we're gonna wing it.
We're gonna wing it. What? So, where do we start? What?
Where do you guys want to start? The beginning?
the end.
At the end, and work our way backwards.
What's Lion King 2.5? We go way back.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, at the beginning. So,
Oh, do you remember where the conversation started last week? How we got to that?
I do
neither?
not.
Trying to remember what we were basing it off of. Like where we. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to just remember why, so we have some context as to what led up to this. But the conversation, who are you? Who am I? It's very important when you look at people dealing with depression, anxiety, some of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks or last couple of podcasts. Identity plays a big role in all of that. When you're secure in your identity, a lot of those things don't affect you the same way. They might not hit you the same way. A lot of them don't have room in your life when you're secure in your identity. So I think it's really important. I remember I was the one who brought it up last week during our Bible study, but that to me is kind of like your identity is your foundation. When you know who you are, you don't open the doors to a lot of stuff.
So my question would be, what do hardships look like then?
I think they're there,
Or
but
is
I
that-
don't think they look the same.
No.
I think struggles are still there, but I don't think they look the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what the Bible talks about that in several places. So there's that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's hard to say because how secure are you in your identity?
I'm not actually. I noticed when I'm not.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Where was it? Yeah, it was last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Bible study. We talked. Remember that? When I'm not self-confident, why can't I bring it up now?
I think confidence is one of the biggest ones. Insecurity.
Yeah, insecurity.
When you're not sure of who you are, when you're not sure of your path, you become a lot more insecure. That's basically just what it means. So when you're not willing to step forward out into something because you're scared, insecure.
Yeah.
So when you're 100% sure of who you are, when your identity is firm in Christ,
It's a lot less shit's given
Well,
for a better
yeah,
words.
pretty much. Yeah, that'd be a good way to sum it up. Don't really care. You take it on head on.
Yeah,
Single-minded.
I don't think so much as you don't care, but you're willing to deal with the consequences that come with it.
Exactly. Not don't care in the way of who gives a crap what
Yeah.
happens. It's just
Yeah, because I
it
do
might
think,
suck, but I'm gonna finish it.
yeah, you're not worried. Like, yeah, don't matter the consequence. Because I mean, I think when you and Mike brought up the semi truck business, which is registered.
Yeah, should be ready to go in a week.
So we'll go back to identity, but I have to say something. We bought 3 new computers and your TV for the cameras yesterday. It's like $4,000. We wouldn't be able to spend that kind of money on
Random stuff.
Well, I mean, it's not completely necessary. We could get by what we have.
Yeah.
You could grab one of the diagnostic laptops. I mean, it'd be inconvenient, but we could have made it work. Marcy had we have another business we're starting with somebody else, and we're supposed to inject some capital in that. And she said she felt very confident that in 3 months we'll have it, and all the signs are pointing to that.
Yeah, we're on kind of. I think this kind of plays into this whole identity thing. Is
That's probably true.
as we're making our way back to where we are, who we were supposed to be.
Dude, that's actually very true.
I think we're getting the shot back to that same point, to that line where we're supposed to be treading.
Yeah. We're better with customers. We do better work. Well, I mean, not better work. We always done good work, but we do it,
Makes
In
me
a-
happier.
in a more timely, in a more timely fashion, and that all ties into we're happy, we feel better about ourselves.
More excited to be doing stuff. I think that was one of those things we were almost to the point where it seemed like we were all kind of burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking like maybe we should have more of those days where we just goof off and pull.
But I don't think that was the answer either.
No, it wasn't.
I think that's
'cause
part of
we
it. Like, I
tried
still
some of
think-
that.
Yeah, but I think that's still important.
No, it is.
But not as much as we were kind of gauging it to be.
No. Somebody left his phone on it. Is there a penalty for that? There it is. There's your penalty.
It happens.
So yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, that's something like we bought the computers, we bought Office Desk,
Mhm.
we ordered you an Office Desk. We
Bought a camera for this.
Got in a camera.
we were able to donate some money to the podcast, where the podcast Squad camera, and we still have a little bit left. And Aaron bought quite a few goodies for his gargler there.
Yeah, for the whole system. We've got everything working. The sound effects are working.
We can hear him now.
Yeah, everything is functioning like it's supposed to. So we're slowly moving up in this world.
Yeah, so sooner or later we'll get a nice table here. Oh no, actually, what we want to do is lazy chairs eventually.
Yeah, be able to.
We'll
sit
try
back
that
and
anyway.
relax.
See how we like it. Maybe we start the DS podcast with that. But anyway, now we're getting off topic a little bit. But there's been yeah. I would have a hard time denying that it all ties into identity.
Well, it's the leadership kind of, because when you look at it, we are kind of the leadership, and if we struggle, everybody struggles. Whether you're just in a bad mood, whatever it is, everybody kind of gets the consequences of that. And as we get back where we're supposed to be, kind of the same way we say shit rolls downhill on the bad things, it does on the good things too.
Yeah, no, I can see
So-
that because I think it does without intention, like supernaturally in a way. The guys might not notice; they might not want it to be true, but I just know I didn't have my head on straight today. I guess some of that was also moving into the new office, which it seemed like for me, I couldn't get nothing done today. It's just,
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
That and we actually
did
legitly had a
get
parts
your
excuse.
bike back on the road
Yeah,
today.
Nolan rolled up his sleeves, although he doesn't have any. Rolled up his sleeves and serviced my whole bike in half a day. Put a chain on, coolant, drained the coolant, put the coolant on, all of it. Sprocket.
Yeah.
New chain, all of the above. It's just pretty good.
Yeah, he's only
We
got
could-
anything done. The rest of us all didn't. There's
There's Zachary.
well,
Got a little bit done.
yeah, he got a little bit done. But today was literally one of those times where we legitly had an excuse, which is not something normally we use the excuse waiting on parts. Today we literally waited on parts.
There is,
But it's not that parts weren't. A lot of times we end up with we forgot to order stuff. Today we legitly were waiting for them to be delivered.
I did some of that forgetting to order parts, but that's beside the point.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I don't make mistakes. Everybody else does.
As we found out, we had an error in communication here yesterday, and we may or may not have forgotten to order a camshaft. Yeah, there was a failure to communicate.
To the supplier, or who did we fail to communicate to?
I'm not really sure if it was a failure between me and Mikey to Sarah, but somehow or another we didn't get to ordering it.
But it's another thing. We haven't been waiting on money to order parts. It's really been. But
It's
I
been
guess
really good, really smooth.
one thing that we should then maybe now explore is how did we get there? How did this happen? How it didn't just fall in our lap, did it? I mean, we had to position ourselves in some way. Maybe some.
Well, we did position ourselves. We came back.
That's right. The two.
Well,
the
that
one,
first, I guess, the first 2 hour podcast.
So would you say then it's basically just chasing after Christ like we used to?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part of all of it.
I noticed that there's been days, like, I hope Marcy listens to this, because there was amount of ants, right? Where I would climb out of my truck. They bite me sometimes. I'm not happy about it. And the other day, I'm like, man, they're all dead. I guess somebody must have fed them. I was, no, I cursed them. And I realized that I didn't like what she was saying. I didn't. I don't know why. But there's a few times where that's happened, and I realized that I'm not where I want to be, where I enjoy hearing stories like that. I'm envious, I guess.
Envious, or where it's almost awkward.
This was more envious.
Okay, because I've run into
Because I get
that.
pissed when I get envious.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I can't say I do that. I've noticed. Man,
I get mad. The other
Well,
words probably
like
frowned
like
upon.
myself, my sinuses the last couple of days, where for all those years, 3 years where I never dealt with nothing, and all of a sudden it seems like it's always a constant, and it kind of pisses me off, and then you want to do something about it, where praying about it almost feels awkward, and you're like, you know the words, you know you're supposed to, but in German, du schämst die meist zum Zeit, because all these years like that I did it, I would catch it like that fast, and you pray about it and it's gone, and you don't deal with it anymore. And now it's like I slacked so long, and I almost feel bad going back.
No.
And like you're almost ashamed to. It's like I don't know why.
I had a few times where I noticed, like, maybe I get into the shower, I'm like, man, I really haven't had a whole lot of conversations today with him. Should probably change it.
Does it
Put
make
some
it
worship music on. Turn it up.
Yeah.
It usually helps. I had I have a long note in here, and this probably one of those. Well, we talked about this before, so it's not gonna be new. I was thirsty for a whiskey, so I do like bourbon, especially old fashioned bourbon with some muddled
Bitters.
oranges, muddled oranges and some bitters. Oh, it's so good. And I went to the shop. Man, I had a good time. And that was one of those, like, I felt like I had kind of been, because obviously he doesn't distance himself from us. The Bible says it doesn't, and that's either true or it's not. And so I had been distancing myself again. Seems like it's been happening a lot since I came out of my misery, or a lot more than I would like to. And let me see if I don't know how much I wrote down or how much I'll be able to read quickly and kind of share on that. But that was that was after that day. You remember that day where I went and rented the scissor lift, the little lift for the
Last
lights.
Monday.
Was it last Monday?
Yeah. Monday we Monday we went and picked it up.
Yeah, Monday. So for some reason I had music on in the truck. No, I had a sermon on.
Okay.
From Randy Clark, and he was talking about a prophecy he had gotten because he was supposed to go back to Toronto.
Test me.
Yes, test me. Yep.
Yeah, it was Monday.
He was supposed to go to Toronto, back to Toronto, and big things had happened the first time he went to Toronto. So he's supposed to go back to Toronto, and he wasn't sure if the same things would happen, and he knew that people kind of expected it, and he wanted to deliver it. And he said literally the day before, he was at 10 o'clock next day, he's supposed to fly out. The day before, a businessman from Texas calls him up, tells him, he said, this is the second time I've had the clearest word for you ever. And it was test me 3 times. And when I heard it for the first time, I cried. It was so bad. Like I was in the middle of town. I remember. Again, I remember that when words come to me, I remember exactly where I was. It's like I see with the truck, I know exactly where I was. But and I was trying to hold it together, and I did. And I parked in the parking lot, and then I'm thinking about it, and I lost it again. I was worried I was going to have to leave from any rental and just go sit somewhere and cry about it because I couldn't hold it together. It was pretty strong. So from there, we came back, and we didn't really come up with anything, what we wanted to test him on. Did we?
Not really. We talked about the trucking a little bit.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't really remember that we had come up with anything else.
That might be what it's for.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, which right now talking about, I kind of feel like it's all 3. DS Performance, Diesel Solutions, and 516.
Yeah.
which,
Which
have
we've
we
been
talked
doing.
about 516 yet?
We have
a little
on the
bit.
BS
We have a
side,
little
but
bit.
Not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so 516 comes from this. Yeah. 516 Freedom Trucking is our trucking business. And we wanted a name that was kind of, that wouldn't be obvious that it was a Bible verse.
But be close enough that people might catch it.
Yeah, be close enough where, or sound, I guess, distinctly enough where people will be like, what's this stand for? And that's that. But so that's, I think that was a big part of that test me. Also, I was that the same. No, that wasn't. It wasn't the same day when I went to Seagraves to look at that combine. Was it on Monday?
It was either Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember exactly what day it was, but it was one of the two.
So this is not as clear. Oh, excuse me. I am reading some notes here, so that's why I got a few seconds off. But there was also that morning, I felt like I was dragging my feet all day until that happened. That I heard that word. It was for Randy Clark, but and when I listened to it, I felt it so clearly it was for me as well. And when I was just felt like whatever I had before, where I was miserable, that was coming back.
I remember you mentioning some of that stuff.
Yeah. And after this, I felt alive. And I noticed, like, man, I feel good. And I thought about it. And the thing that came, like, so clearly to mind, those that believe in me will fly on wings like eagles. They'll run the race and never get tired, which is Isaiah 40:31.
Yeah.
And then that evening, I went to, I think that was Monday evening, went to Seagraves, to the common, which this really goes back to, I don't just think, I really believe that our walk and our, whatever you want to look at it, what we learn, the closer we come to Christ and the more we resemble Him, I guess, the way we work, that should affect the people around us, because that's the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
So that's where this comes in. That combine, I had no idea what was wrong with it. I know Isaac worked on it. Nothing we did. You tuned it, and then it had a code from a completely different controller, and it could have been as simple as because it went offline. Because whenever you program, they go offline, and that it couldn't come back on because it had a communication code. Wasn't it a communication code?
Yeah, it was an RCU code.
RCU communication. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I looked through the signals, couldn't find anything odd with it. I don't know that much about timeouts either, but couldn't find anything odd with it. I went and unplugged it and decided to leave the key on. I came back in and had like a bunch of codes. Well, I expected that. So then I left the key on purposely, went back over there and plugged them back in. Now I just, for lack of a better word, throw shit against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But like at first I was kind of, I want to get out of here because I don't know what I'm doing anyway. I just want to get out of here. I want to do everything I know how to do, and then I want to leave. And then somebody else can take this over. And I was thinking to myself, like, my whole experience today should affect the kingdom, which means this right here, this what I'm working on. And I really hadn't noticed right away until I wasn't there that long, but it seemed like I was there for a while. And I noticed I was real calm about it. No rush to leave. Went and I plugged it back in, went over, and oddly enough, communication codes were gone, but it had 3 solenoid codes that came up on the combine. So turn the key off, turn the key back on, communication code is back, solenoid codes went inactive. Well, so I did it again. Just like I said, you don't know what to do anyway. Did it again, and then did the same thing. The solenoids stayed active, communication code was gone. So turned it off, turned it back on, worked, went home.
That's simple.
But like after I thought about like how like my walk with Christ should affect the kingdom, which means everything I touch, people, work, equipment. I felt peaceful. Like I didn't even think about it. Like it became so peaceful. I didn't even think about it until I was in the middle of this, working, playing with it. And it just worked. And it's not the first time. There's more times where just start unplugging things, see what's going, and suddenly you find something wrong with it. When you're like kind of like, well, I guess Abe talked about it, like how he found that screw into a CAN wire in a Mac. You just don't know where to go, but you have peace over this, and you start chasing it. That's kind of cool. I don't know how that ties into identity. It does, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, it does.
So it goes to security. If you're insecure, you hear his voice, you follow it. If you're insecure, you're kind of scared too because you're not really sure if it is.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
one I
think
struggle
so.
with a lot.
Yeah, so I think it does. I very firmly believe that all Christianity is based off of identity. It is. That's why I said earlier, foundation. If you don't have a strong identity, you don't have a strong relationship. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right.
No, yeah.
Okay.
The question is, how do you build it up if you either don't know
There you go.
your identity or
How do you find it?
yeah,
Well, that was-
how do you find it? Because to be honest, I feel like I have lost a lot of that. I need to get it back, but I really don't know where to start or
Bro.
what to do.
I don't know either.
Go through the group message. There's a sermon in there you're supposed to
Yeah.
listen to.
I don't need a sermon. I need to know
I
what
know.
to do.
But it's one of the few times where I've actually heard a sermon where somebody gives you some instruction.
He wants
Not just where they give you random information.
He
they
wants a
actually
red pill.
Give you instruction. Oh no, I don't have the red pill.
Yeah.
This is not the Matrix, and I'm not Morpheus. I'm not going to give you the option. Do you want the blue pill or the red pill?
We'll probably reject them both. So
I have the
But
Red
it-
Bull and the Topo Chico.
It is an absolutely a perfect point, actually. That I don't know if we can come up with an answer here, but we should at least explore it.
What do you mean?
How do we find it again?
Yeah.
Because I've asked it, he's asking it. We're not the only ones.
No, I did for the longest time. The thing is, it's all in the Bible, but we overlook it. A lot of it's Old Testament. Like he talks about how important mankind is to him. That's your identity. You listen to those words through the entire New Testament. Jesus talks about, like even one of the simple verses that says, "Don't worry about tomorrow. Look at the sparrows. How they always have food, everything, and how much more important are you than sparrows?" All of those things like that all adds up to how important you are to God. And when you actually see that level of importance, that all adds
realize
to
it.
it. Yeah, but you overlook it because I know I've read it.
Because I don't know what that means.
What do you mean?
I'm more important than the sparrow. Like I really don't. I'm not joking. I really don't know what that looks like for Herman. That I'm more important than the sparrows.
Well, you want to watch The Passion again?
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's kind of an answer there. You look at what does it look like? You're more important than a sparrow. He didn't die for the sparrows.
Okay, got a point there.
Uh,
But like, there's one thing knowing it, but there's another thing to realize it. Like,
I think there's another. Yeah, to comprehend, actually see it. I think the first time I watched that.
Go
ahead.
Identity, right?
Well, identity is who you are. It's
Exactly.
grasping what that means, because you can say, "I'm a child of God." It's easy to say. That's part of your identity. It's who you
can
are.
believe it.
You can
But
believe it.
never realize what it means.
Exactly. You cannot grasp what the actual.
Yeah.
You get what it means to say, like, if you're kids, you say those are my kids. That's their identity. To you, that's who they are. To them, they could say, "Well, I'm Isaac's kid." That's their identity. But it's not the same thing as grasping the fact that if they understood how important they were to you, it would change who they thought they were. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but isn't that the same thing for us?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at for us to God.
Once we understand who He really is for us, then we wouldn't struggle with our identity.
It goes back to the same thing. How do you realize it?
I think that's going to be
That's-
different for every person. That's not going to be the
I
same.
could see that. But we can at least
Yeah.
explore it. We're like, where?
Oh yeah, I'm game with that.
Because it, I tell you, I'm fearful of losing it. I don't have it back the way like me
Well,
and you used to
look at-
talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't have it back to that point, but it's back a little bit, and I am worried I will lose it.
So look
I
at
think-
right now. Who is Herman? When if you think about that, who are you?
That's a big that's a
well,
lot of things.
yeah, but what comes to mind?
mechanic,
Okay, there's one. What else?
a father. What are you getting at?
Well, just keep going. What you got?
It's awkward.
Well, I know that's okay.
Everybody needs to know a little bit.
What
about
do we
you.
talk about? You've said this. It's about becoming vulnerable.
Oof.
Awkward
Oof.
is vulnerable. Okay.
Mechanic, father, spouse, brother, son. Ooh, what else?
Business owner.
Business owner, entrepreneur. A little bit of a daredevil.
A little bit.
Easy now. There's a lot. There's probably a bunch of what I'm missing.
Yeah. You never even said Christian.
Well, that's kind of obvious, isn't
But
it?
that's the point. It's obvious and you didn't see it.
That's why.
But you get what I'm saying? You don't grasp.
I don't.
You don't grasp. It's right there, and that's exactly what identity is. It's right in front of you.
You think it's priority? You kind
To a
of
point, I think to a point it could be. If you spend time on him, focusing on him, then I think your identity becomes more obvious to you.
the first thing is I am a child of God.
Supposed to be. That should always be our first.
I failed miserably.
I have too. I'm the only one who did any homework, just so you guys know.
So no, you think you have the privilege of being the judge here?
Paul
Judge,
said,
jury.
"Don't you know we are to judge angels?"
He's not an angel.
Exactly.
Leave
so
him alone.
Nor
we
is
can judge
he.
the angels. Then I think it's okay.
Oh, we're above the angels.
But
Are you yet?
Oh, we have them as our protectors.
But you didn't even know you were a Christian.
Okay.
No. Now we're starting to twist things. That's not okay either.
I know. No, it was fun.
Yeah,
it
it wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun. It was
But
all
that,
good.
that's I think it really is. It's important that we grasp or that we take the time to even to pay attention to that, to the little thing that we push it off, that we don't make that a priority. What was the first thing that came out of your mouth? Mechanic.
Mhm.
That's your profession. That's not who you are.
I think it's something I called to do because
But still, even if you're called, it's a profession.
yeah, it is.
And the thing is, it might be a holy profession. It
Exactly.
might be. That's not what I wouldn't dispute that.
It doesn't say Paul the tent maker. It says Paul the apostle.
That's right. Was he a tent maker?
Yes, Yes.
Okay.
You didn't even know?
No, I don't think I do that. No.
Yeah, it talks about how he went back to his profession because he had no money.
Where?
It's somewhere in the Bible. I've read it.
It must be only in yours. I never.
No.
It must be in Rudy's.
Yeah, I must have read the Bible.
And Rudy.
No, it's
But-
in there.
I'll have to look that up. I didn't know that. But see, that's the thing. How many times have you read something and just glanced over it?
Yeah, no, it's true. But it goes to that same point that you just made. It does not say Paul the tent maker. It says Paul the apostle, the slave.
So if
to
there's ever a
Christ.
story written about you, it won't say Herman the mechanic. Well, it might. But
It'll say Herman the Christian mechanic.
Oh,
How about,
okay.
how about that?
okay, I can live with that.
The Christian wannabe good mechanic.
For they were tent makers by trade.
Where is this?
In the Bible.
I would hope so. They're quoting it.
Acts 18:3.
It says they. Who are they? Who else?
The rest of the apostles.
They weren't all
Obviously,
tent makers.
I
There was
know,
fishermen.
I know. I am. I'm just messing with you. This has been one of the best podcasts yet. I think I'm enjoying today.
But we were talking about earlier how to find our identity. I think the question that we should ask is how not to lose it again, because then we don't have to worry about finding it over and over.
I think it's the same
again.
answer. I don't think
point.
there's a difference.
That's very good. Well,
I think if you
yeah, probably
because if you continue to look for it every day, you won't lose it. It's when you stop looking
But
for it,
here's the
you
thing,
move
though.
back.
when
Do you think that is something that you have to look for every day,
I think so.
or is that something that because Herman doesn't have to remind himself every day that he's a mechanic?
No, but if he doesn't do something for a little while, he tends to forget.
tend to forget part of the profession. Yes,
Exactly. And I think it's the same thing.
that's actually a good point.
Because, like, think about it. When we were chasing heavy, like hardcore, it was constantly moving forward. We got to a comfortable area and we kind of stopped it for a little bit, basically took a break. And we
Why, though? That
slowly
wasn't
let
even
that go.
intentional.
No, it never was. But it happened regardless.
No, it did. But that
So-
wasn't. Nobody made the decision. Look,
No.
guys, we're going to take a break.
But when in the midst of that little break, we forgot what healing was.
Mm.
I
That
think
was the biggest one
that's
for
why
me, I think.
I wasn't angry at my wife. It was more I was ashamed.
Were you a little butthurt?
Easy now.
Oh, okay.
One step at a time.
I
Okay.
think that just comes, when you are not very active in that, and somebody talks about it, it gets really uncomfortable. That's what it does to me.
Does for me. Like
You
that's
know,
what
somebody
Yeah.
talks about it, I'm like, why don't you just shut up?
So you're
That's-
saying you
that was exactly my
Are you
reaction.
saying you were just
Like,
a little insecure?
Just a little
I
bit, very
was.
much.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it goes
okay.
to as you move backwards, you get insecure with that. When we're moving forward in that, we're living in that, then you're secure about it. You can talk to people about it, and you're not afraid of it. And then as soon as you let that go, then you're scared. You
Yeah,
move back.
because back in the
Yeah.
days, what is it, 6 months, year ago,
It'd been a
we
year.
were very active in
Yes,
it.
we were. It's
You
not
know,
that long
we were,
ago. It
we were
feels like
talking
forever
about
though.
it. We were
No,
practicing.
it was about a
it,
year.
Yeah. But
and all of a sudden everything just stopped.
We had weekly hot seats. We had
Yeah, we
we
did.
had basically our own vision guy.
They were fun.
they were fun.
We had a lot of, but it had to be over. No, you were here when it first started, or like not when it first started, but
I
right
think
when
I
you
got
first
hit
got
was it the
here.
first time I showed up.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, he did. He
yeah.
did
So
get hit
when
the
he
time showed
first
up.
got here,
But
we
they,
were still
they weren't
doing
as
it.
effective as they used to be.
No, it was already dying down, but
Yes,
we
it
hadn't
was.
given it up.
But like Marcy, when she seen those ants, she's like, "Well, I cursed them," and it was like obvious to her. And blood hurt would be pretty fitting. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Good, and there's another one that I want back. I know
Mechanics don't
one-
curse ants. Is that the problem?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
we hit him with the wrenches.
there we go. See, brake cleaner.
Brake cleaner, obviously. When last time when me and Abe and Sarah, or us, me and my wife and Abe and Sarah, Marcy and I, somebody reminded me it's supposed to be Marcy and I, and Abe and Sarah went to Heaven and Business. That guy that had that book and brought like a short little storytelling teaching of prayer. I walked out of there with like what the Bible talks about, fear God. I had that kind of fear over prayer because I knew if I asked, it was going to happen.
No.
Like I was careful, or to the point, and maybe that's why I lost it. I don't know. I don't know. It was like there was a real healthy respect for it.
That's I think it's supposed to be there. You know, Kenneth Copeland talks about power of words. Like he has, I know a lot of people don't like him, and that's kind of your loss, not mine.
It's a good point.
Yeah, because
he's a good dude.
The thing is, you know, there might be some issues there. I don't know, because like if you listen to some of the stuff, I kind of worry about his sanity every now and then.
But the thing is,
But well, it's one of those times where you'll know them by their fruits, and
got
it's
both
very
before.
hard to argue with his fruits. You know, a lot of people they talk just the downside of the money. Look at the money he's given away too. Don't just judge a person because he makes a lot of money. But he has a very, very good outlook on power of words.
he's
Like
not-
using the word pride. He refuses to use the word pride in his family because he says pride comes before the fall. So he never uses it. Like one of them that got me once was he says he never tells his kids he's proud of them, but he always says that he's pleased with them or like he's happy with them. But he said
Yes,
you
but
never
we're
use the
cool
word
with-
pride. And then the thing is that might be more of a personal outlook. It might not affect,
Yeah.
but it's just to me it's the reverence he has for that.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
preaches
reverence
on
is a good word for that actually.
he preaches on that to say we don't see anything because we've demeaned the words. We lie to ourselves every single day, and because we do that, we've taken away the power of a simple yes or no. So with doing that, we've taken away the power of prayer. Because we don't mean what we say, we don't mean what we ask for.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, basically you're saying that
Well, the Bible says, "Let your yes be yes and your no be no."
if we go back to that, we will have a better prayer
No.
life too.
Well, a better prayer life, better communication relationship with God. And the thing is, I guarantee somebody's going to come on here in a little while and say, "Are you guys saying that your words have the power to defy God's will?" I just have that feeling. I might be wrong, but if not, I guarantee you somebody out there's thinking it.
Well, yeah, it's called free to see what.
Well, I don't think it's even that. I mean, because the way I said that would be that our words, control that,
Well,
and they do to a point because God said, "Whatever you ask, whatever you will ask, you'll receive."
in my name, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, Jesus said, "Whatever you ask in my name, you will receive."
I will give you. Yeah.
So when we do that, we have to be sincere. We have to genuinely mean it. When we say things like as simple as like your schedule, you say, I'm going to be here at this time and do this, and you don't do it, you've lied to yourself. You've demeaned your own word.
Don't look at me when you're saying that.
That's why I was kind of looking at the window because I don't see a reflection of myself, but I actually, off topic, I saw the coolest meme in the world. I was going to send it to you, but I couldn't figure out how. It was legendary, Tom Hardy. It's got the one where he's kind of dancing, smoking, and it says, me when I'm 15 minutes late for work. And then it's got the other brother down there looking at him all pissed off. And then it goes back to the other guy, or it says, my boss. And it goes back to the other guy, and he's me pretending I was early. I'll find it and send it to you. It suits it so good. But I thought about that. It's me.
Swallow. I've thought about that actually quite a bit. It's just a bad habit. Is all it is.
It is. To me, it's a bunch of bad habits kind of blended together.
That's probably true.
Living a little ways off, trying to make time with my kids when I see them. Everything kind of piles up, and you ruin your morning routine by ruining your sleep routine. And it just all rolls together, and it's a bundle of not great life choices to me to do that. You don't sleep enough at night, so you're trying to get up and make things work in the morning. It doesn't roll together like it's supposed to. The day doesn't start like it's supposed to.
Are you saying I should make better choices?
I'm talking about myself, but I mean, if it hits you too,
if the shoe fits,
that's what I'm saying. Kick it off.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the times when we begin to lose our identity in Christ, it's almost in a way small oppressions upon us that build up over time.
I think the oppression is there the entire time.
right? But we let them in.
You
They're
don't
small.
see them, and they're extremely hard to see at first.
Yeah. They almost
And
seem
then
insignificant.
Before you know it, it's like, oh my gosh, what's that? No, I'm not praying as much. I'm not doing this or that. I'm not what's hunting or seeking as much. No, it's so small. But then we would seek a good service by, and then a month, and it all built, and then you would take up, and you're like,
All of a
what
sudden,
the heck
overwhelmed.
happened?
Where'd all this come from?
Okay,
Yeah.
how can you prevent something like that?
That is a
Those
million-dollar
little
question.
things that basically don't even realize at first.
Think about where a
can
lot of this
you-
comes from. For the longest time, me and you talked about it a bunch of times. Deliverance ministries, deliverance things like that.
Mhm.
When I know for myself, when this first started, when this group first started, I guess Herman had just done Above and Beyond. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
So I started with those podcasts, Deliverance.fm or whatever they're called, Deliverance Ministries.
Yes.
So I started with all of that. That's where mine came from. And then you went and saw Vlad. Was it Hungry Generation?
Yes.
Like all of that.
That's good, dude.
He is. In the midst of all of that, that's where I got really strong. Like for me anyway, from where I came from to the point where I was at, I was secure. I'm trying to think of how to say it. Not that I was comfortable where I was at, but I was in a spot where I wasn't scared of losing it.
And you were growing.
Yeah.
So,
You prosper in that moment.
So, but you didn't go with us or with him. So, a lot of that was because of who you surrounded yourself with.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was listening to Vlad before Isaac went and saw him.
Okay.
So me and Abe kind of stumbled
So then,
across some
then
of it
it's
before.
more like who you're listening to.
Yeah, a lot
And
of it
listen to
was
somebody that seeds into or sows
Yeah.
into you that your spirit actually receives. You don't just listen to it just to make yourself feel better that you're listening to some Christian.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you can listen to a lot of sermons all day and say that you're learning something, but you don't ever actually catch nothing. You catch something when you find yourself under a truck listening to a deliverance sermon, trying not to throw up because it hits you. That's getting something.
Yeah. No, you're
So,
right.
like those situations, like listening to things like that actually hit you because they actually touch you like something deep. Like
Yeah.
when you receive something like that, that's where like the real growth happens. But it was like right at that time when we talked about it once at Herman's, and that's when you said you were going. So when those situations, that's where the drastic stuff starts. But in that deliverance, in those sermons, I picked up something that down the line I lost as well. That was something really, really intense.
So I'm trying to write some of this down. What I got when you said the little things. When you said the little things, the thing that came to mind was the foxes in the vineyard. Jesus talks about that. Can we find that passage?
What? I'll bet we can.
The foxes in the vineyard. Maybe see if we can find the context and what he's talking about.
Me and you had this discussion once before.
Me and you?
Yeah. Song of Solomon 2:15.
So it wasn't Jesus, but a very good dude.
Yeah, this is Old Testament.
Song of Solomon. What was it?
2:15.
Do I not know how to spell?
Maybe we should start from the first. Or where would you start?
I think 14 is labeled the groom, so it's 14. 15 is the chorus. 16 is the bride. So I guess I would start at like 14.
In the Passion, I have just below 10, the bridegroom king.
Okay, start at what? Just below 10. So verse 10.
Yeah. Let's do verse 10. The one I love calls to me. Arise, my dearest. Hurry, my darling. Come away with me. I have come as you have asked to draw. Dude, I can't read it.
I can, but it's NASB.
I can't.
I'll start verse 11. For behold, verse 10. Hold on.
2:11.
Yeah, 2:10. My beloved responded and said to me, Arise, my darling, my beautiful one, and come along. For behold, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The blossoms have already appeared in the land. The time has arrived for pruning the vines, and the voice of the turtle dove has been heard in our land. The fig tree has ripened its fruit, and the vines and blossom have given forth their fragrance. Arise, my darling, my beautiful one, and come along. My dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the hiding place of the mountain pathway, let me see how you look. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is pleasant, and you look delightful. Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that are ruining the vineyards, while our vineyards are in blossom. I guess we'll keep going. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He pastures his flock among the lilies. Until the cool of the day, when the shadows flee, turn, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of Bether.
Ooh, I don't know what hit me there. It was rough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see how it applies to this, but I mean, obviously, you're getting something I'm not.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to be getting out of it right now, but maybe it'll come yet. But so the little fox, I think, like when he said the little things, the fox is what came straight to mind. Very, very. All right, we're back.
You need to pull a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah, get back in there, Tier. Catch the foxes for us. Wouldn't that be the same thing? Because the vineyard, like he talks about, he is the stem or the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
We are the
branches.
And the foxes, it says little foxes,
Which would be
that are ruining
in
the
this
vineyard.
situation be the demons. We've talked about demon oppression, demonic oppression.
I think this is a little thing. Maybe it's demon oppression, but
It
it's
would be
these
because
little
the devil
things
would be
that-
the big one. The demons would be they're his minions. So
whatever it is,
the little
something's
things that come
oppressing
into your
us.
life, yeah.
But the fox, I think that's what it talks about. The foxes, like the little things. But okay, so what's catch the foxes for? Who's supposed to catch the foxes? You must catch the troubling foxes, those sly little foxes that hinder our relationship, for they raid our budding vineyard of love and ruin what I've planted within you.
Who wrote like Song of Solomon? Who's the author?
Solomon,
Is it Solomon? Okay, so
who's the smartest man ever lived?
who's he talking about?
Song of Solomon and also David
I think himself
did
as
some.
He's talking
as the
about
bride
himself?
to Christ, eh?
It could be. I honestly don't know. I've never studied it. I've read this once before when you mentioned it to me, and I don't remember what even it was about. I remember clear enough to remember where we were sitting when we talked about it, but I don't remember the context of why we even were talking about it.
Because, well, 15 in the Passion NASB is very different. The 15 in the American Standard NASB says, "Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that are ruining the vineyard while our vineyard is blossoming." And the Passion translation says, "You must catch the troubling foxes." Well, 14 for you are this whole thing.
So could it
It does
apply
talk about
to
a bride, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it talks about the bride. It talks about the groom though too. Verse
bridegroom
14
king.
is labeled the groom. My dove in the clefts of the rock and the hiding place of the mountain pathway. Let me see how you look. Let me hear your voice for your. Okay, so 14 would be speaking of Jesus then.
I would think so, because he is our bridegroom.
So is he telling Jesus, catch the foxes for us?
Maybe. I would.
Now I have the question. What does that look like?
Yeah. What might that teach?
Yeah, what might that? Yeah. Even in English, I don't know.
If it's
Spanish. Yeah.
if it's his job, do we need to know?
I don't
do
know,
we
but is
just-
it his job?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if it is, so we need to know.
According to what's saying,
Well,
Well, there's so much that we do not know all of the time.
I think we took this
But-
very out of context too. So
But I think Christ has got a special way of always giving you the exact thing that you need to know. No, it's like you can't know everything, but Christ knows exactly what you need to know at the time.
Well, I think there's a reason why we stumbled on this. Like you said, when he said the little things,
Yeah.
I heard foxes. There was no reference of foxes.
yeah.
He said the little things that move us away from knowing him.
but yeah, just reading that, it says that the little foxes are destroying.
Yeah. The blossoming
So
vineyard.
that's basically what we did, right?
Where were
Which
the
this-
little
we-
foxes?
We came to a point where
That's the
we
question,
were
isn't it?
really, starting to shine.
To
and
bloom.
then-
Yeah.
and-
The
and
fruit
then
hadn't grown
ev-
yet, but
yeah,
it was ready.
and everything, the foxes just
They destroyed it.
literally took it.
I think it fits.
Where were the foxes?
I don't know.
What were who were the foxes?
Go shoot them. We live in Texas.
I was about to say something else, but we're not going to go that far.
Yeah. But,
Was
but,
it PG?
but
Huh?
the bad
it PG?
thing is,
It was.
Okay.
It was
then
just stupid.
let's hear it.
What does the fox say?
I can tell you exactly what the
I'm
Fox
having
Fox
fun.
says.
Is it like this little girl was asking her mom, what did one fox say to the other? Mom's like, I don't know. They don't talk.
No, they scream in the middle of the night, and it sounds just like a girl scream, too.
Little foxes?
No, big foxes. That's the mating call.
We used to shoot them.
They scream like sound like girls, like little
Yeah.
girls screaming.
Yeah, yeah.
We never let them get that far. Headshots.
So
We
back
used to.
I've
hunted so
used
long.
to live that tell a ton of like folklore stories of people that heard a girl scream, so they would send into the woods, and then they would get lost, and they would find a big creature or end up dead.
Yeah.
Like that was a
And it's,
Big deal.
But it started from this fox mating call.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
People. But it makes sense because in it says the little foxes that hinder our relationship. And there's an I or something there. Let me see what it says. These foxes are the little note there says these foxes in parentheses are the compromises that are hidden deep in our. Dude, this is it. I think this is it. These are the compromises. One of those compromises that I know I have is the one that you were looking at me earlier when you were saying about being late. I know it's one of my compromises,
Okay.
but that's what like the little note says. the foxes are the compromises that are hidden deep in our hearts. These are areas of our lives where we have not yet allowed victory of Christ to shine into. The foxes keep the fruit of his spirit from growing within us.
Where are you at?
Is that in the
there's-
Strongs or what?
No, it's a passion translation. There's a little note there on the side. On the side right beside relationships, there's it looks like a T. I might need my reading glasses. I'm just kidding. I can see it.
Bifocals.
Yeah. For the radar budding vineyard. Like this is budding vineyard. It's before the fruit grows. That's basically that's exactly what he said. Like we were about to grow fruit. We had laid the groundwork.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that kind of goes. So that's proof that Kenneth Copeland knows what he's talking about. But I know what you mean when you say like one of your compromises. I know exactly how you feel, but I don't think it's just the one. It continues on. Like the words we say during the day. Talk about a job. We agree to do a job. We drop the ball.
We've gotten a lot better at that. Maybe that's why we're here. Maybe because we've gotten a lot better at it.
We have, but it still happens.
No,
So
yeah, it's one of
it's
those-
still
it's not a
our
once and
word
done.
doesn't mean to us yet what it should. We're maybe headed on the right path, but to take back something that's basically instilled into your brain that it's okay to kind of you do the best you can. That's kind of a problem with we could say with the school system. Like I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus. I gotta blame somebody. Might as well blame the school. But so we're taught that as long as you do the best you can, it's okay if you fail.
This is very true.
And we screw that up because in
It's
some
not.
in some senses it might be, but
it's
not when you give your word. And we don't live that anymore. Take something by a word and a handshake because you can't trust anybody. And that's because we've taken away the power of our yes.
I tried to.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, I've done it to people. I've probably cost us some money because we've done that to people too. But you try to take people at their word.
There is. I think there's times. Because I mean, the business would go under if we do that for everyone. Not everyone, but we had 170,000 in invoices
Outstanding.
unpaid. Yeah, because of a lot of that.
Yeah, because we trusted people.
Yeah.
Because we thought we could trust people. And we learned that. And that's kind of it. Other people have the exact same problem. We take away the importance of what we say. And when we do that, we demean the words, and the words lose their power.
But see,
So
just hold your thought. Even there's a reaction to that where you treat everybody. You have to sign a piece of paper or pay before you leave, or there's a response, which is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
A response. Certain people can take their truck,
yeah,
and we trust you, but not everyone. There's
I
a
know.
relationship that comes with that.
very
So
much.
I think that's that's responding to the problem, not reacting. When you react to it, you cut everybody off.
That's oftentimes what we want to do.
That's what we usually do as human beings. Is what we do. That's why, like we've talked about that before. Like what we do with pornography and everything, we react, and it's all bad. Like, yeah, you shut everything down, make everything overly sexual. Which, you know, what I was thinking today. You picked the lock to get in here, Nick.
And I haven't terminated them yet, but there might be repercussions still.
You know what I was thinking about? Why you did it?
Hmm.
Because you told him not to.
Probably.
Reacting.
What did I say would happen? The lock would be changed. It will be changed.
We're reacting though.
Yeah.
To this is what you can do. Well, then I'll do just that. Or this is what you can't do. Now I'll just do. It's what we do. You react instead of responding.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore. I want to
You
respond.
want to react? No, I'm not pointing at you. No, I'm pointing behind you.
What is that?
Can you turn on that camera?
Turn on my camera.
Tomorrow morning's job just pulled up.
Look at that.
Awesome.
That's a nice python.
Yep. 379 needs an injector.
That's what it needs.
Yep. MXS C15.
We need to put a sign, no parking.
I need
outside the
someone-
office.
That's pretty.
I need someone to run downstairs and deal with this. Nick, you haven't been participating. You want to just go grab keys and stuff?
Front door's locked.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's sweet Angelina on his hood.
RC Trucking. Yeah, he loves that truck.
I bet he does. That's a pretty truck. But just look at that picture outside.
It's beautiful.
Texas sunset. You can't beat it.
So before we proceed, do you all want to hear exactly what a fox sounds like in the middle of the night?
I'm familiar. I have a
Let's do it.
I have
Let's
a
hear
couple
it.
of different calls. I know.
See,
That could be mistaken.
We used to use. Trying to think what it is that I've got there. I can't even remember the name of the brand. It's not a Fox Pro.
So
We
here's
used to use that to call in coyotes all the time.
here's what the NASB says. The NASB has catch in 15 underlined, catch the foxes, and the cross references Ezekiel 13:4 and Luke. Ezekiel's not written out, but Luke is written out. Do you want to find that there guy behind the gargler?
If I knew how to spell.
Hey, do you know that the NASB also has the little notation next to foxes? It says or jackals.
Ezekiel
Which one is
13,
worse?
4?
Not really sure.
Ezekiel. Well, no, let's do Luke 13:32. That's the one that's written out here. Bruh.
Look what?
13:32.
32, not 33.
We'll get it right tomorrow.
And he said unto them, Go and say to that fox, Behold, I cast out demons and perform cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I am perfected.
See, the NASB
Ah.
says, "Go and tell that deceiver that I will continue to cast out demons and heal
So
the
the
sick."
fox is the devil.
The
So
little
the
demons.
little foxes are the demons.
I think so. He says it will continue because if you think about it, this is what
Deliverance.
this is what we used to do.
from
Remember
the
that?
devil.
This is we. You were the guy that introduced us to a lot of that.
To the deliverance stuff.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not guilty.
Hey, you remember? You remember? He
Where
said
are
this
you?
now. I just want to make a note of this on this day, the
6th.
6.
okay, the 6th of July at 9:00, right at 9:00. The same guy who said, "I don't think deliverance is that big a deal," just said it's a big deal.
What?
Do you not remember this? Do you remember? Me and you versus almost an entire table saying how deliverance was not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like as long as we have, as
remember.
long as we're Christians, we shouldn't have to worry about deliverance because if we have the Spirit, then we shouldn't have to worry about the demons.
The
What happened?
I plead the fifth.
next
Okay.
part is good too. It says, "O Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wing, but you were not willing." Ouch.
Yep.
Well, but this fits
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we lost.
Yeah, it does. And
Yeah.
the thing is, that's why I think a lot of this is like that deliverance comes back as something that strikes me as now important because I read something. It's been like 2 years. It was a bunch of pictures. Each one was a different demon. Next to them were names. And it was things like depression, anxiety, lust, addiction. I don't remember what else.
But I think what we're dealing with right now is even just being late. Not
Well,
being
it's
going with the
possible,
word.
but even still, some of those things: insecurity, anxiety, depression,
But
demonic
don't
influence.
they
That
stem
whether
from that?
would it stem from what?
Don't they stem from the little ones? Like
Well, yeah, they do, but it's all still demonic oppression.
I agree.
So I think
yes.
that deliverance now becomes important again because we've seen the problem. Now, how do you deal with the problem?
Are you encouraging a hot seat?
Possibly.
Hey,
Hey, Aaron, can you
I can
pull out
neither
Matthew
confirm
10:8?
nor deny.
Because it says, "Go tell the deceiver that I will continue to cast out demons and heal the sick today and tomorrow, but on the third day I will bring my work to perfection."
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know why I read it. I don't know.
Look at that.
Okay,
guy.
he's doing it again. He's standing up now. It was a standing wheelie.
Kids these
We're
days.
gonna have a talk with that guy. We're
Yeah.
gonna pull him over yet.
Yeah, until we know how to
Look,
do
he's-
it, he's not allowed to.
He's still doing it.
Not allowed to do it until we know how to do it.
First, he was at
Dang.
2:00. Now he's at 11:00.
There's
I think we're on the right track to get back. Kind of some of this stuff. Like
I agree.
I'm not gonna say that it's the people we listen to that help us. No, I am going to say it's people we listen to that help us. I'm not going to say that we put too much priority on the persons with the sermon. You know what I mean? Because we've had that where you put too much emphasis on the person preaching,
Yep.
and that becomes too important. But it doesn't change
You
the
try to
fact that
match it
exactly,
instead of learn from it.
exactly. But it kind of goes now. You've started listening to Randy Clark. I started kind of going back to some of the pastors I used to listen to a little bit,
Yeah,
but
that
not on
used
the
to help
same
you.
scale.
Right, it's a
because
different
now
learning.
Exactly, because before I based a lot of emphasis on what they had to say, and now it's like there's a lot of this knowledge is already here. It's things that I've picked up and I've learned for myself, not through them, but now hearing the wisdom that they have, I can apply it to the things I know.
Which isn't it also more, as I guess, a simple way of saying it would be, instead of this is what he said and you repeat it,
Yeah,
this is what I learned from it, and now I'm going to put my version of it out
yeah,
there. I
either
guess.
that or I'm going to put out how it looks in my life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
basic, yeah.
How does it apply to me?
What might it up teach?
Yeah. Or proponer. How do you say what might it proponer in Spanish?
¿Qué significa en español?
Okay, that one.
We don't speak Spanish here.
In
Nobody.
Sí,
a
cabrón.
way,
Sí, cabrón.
it's almost like one of those old
Oh, that's
rich radios that you had to tune.
Yeah.
It's like at
Find the
fir-
frequency.
Book boy.
First, you were like view to find it, and then you went view, and you're like, oh,
Then
what
you
was that?
then you
Then
fine
you
tune.
start
Fine-tune.
like going back, and you're just like clearer and clearer and clearer.
I think that's probably a good analogy for this is the fine tuning now. We've found the issue. We're making our way back. Now it's the little bit of fine tuning to get back on track.
We also found what not to do.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a good job at that one.
So
We could write a whole 12-step process. It would be called Don't Try This at Home.
don't try this ever.
Yeah.
As
Don't
soon
try
as-
this at all.
As soon as you want to start with that 12 step, I'm out of here.
We might need at least 6 of those steps have to come from you. We're going to need at least that much help. This is kind of like that Logan
Yeah,
Lyle
because he
I-
started it.
book.
I-
So
I'm-
obviously the stats have
I'm
to come
glad.
from him.
I'm
Huh?
glad because it will never happen.
It'll never happen. Are you sure?
Yeah,
I think it might.
So the verse 15 in the NASB, the vineyards also underlined in it says Song of Solomon 2:13, but it doesn't describe 2:13. No, it does. But the NASB describes 2:13 in the way it is written in the Passion. I've never seen this because they match, not perfectly, but perfectly. The
What?
the NSB app that I have right here.
Okay.
The NASB app that I have, the camera show it. The NASB app that I have has the
It's a lot of fingerprints.
a little bit. The in the 13 and the Passion matches the description in the NASB. It says, "Can you not discern this new day of destiny breaking forth around you? The early signs of my purposes and plans are bursting forth. The budding vines are new life are now blooming everywhere. The fragrance of their flowers whispers, there is change in the air. Arise, my love, my beautiful companion, and run with me to the higher place. So now is the time to arise and come away with me." Ooh. It's a little hard. What?
Not? We're
What?
paying attention.
I don't know what to say.
We were just looking at what was happening to you.
Yeah.
Get back in there, Tyr. That's what was happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can fight it off. I can't always fight it off.
Do you want to?
I really don't, but I mean, we were on camera. It's uncomfortable.
So
Are you saying real men don't cry?
It's not nice.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Grown men don't cry. Why you cry? I say. It's like
That
that.
almost went bad. George Lopez, porque why you cry?
My son stomach was already hurting. We gotta quit.
Yeah.
I've never had this much fun on a podcast, dude. I'm enjoying today. Man, I'm enjoying it.
It's because I'm here.
Absolutely.
You've been gone. It kind of
Well,
it's been
so-
kind of empty.
Yeah.
I know he said it jokingly, but his big part is right because at the end of the day, you were the guy.
Even when you don't say nothing.
Yeah, but not,
He just kinda- he
when
needs
we
to be
started all
here.
this deliverance stuff, it
Yeah,
was
it
Isaac
was.
that brought it to our attention.
Yeah, it was.
I remember
Yeah.
when me and you first talked about it. You were like, "This guy is." Ooh,
Da-da-da.
a little bit full of crap.
yeah,
A little bit.
but that was fun though.
It was.
Yeah.
I like it though, dude. Like we're getting back, dude. Like ever since that last podcast,
It was
Emphasis.
two podcasts ago.
Yeah.
When we really started.
two
it back up.
podcasts ago, when we started all over again. Like it was a back to the beginning. Para has to leave for just a second. He'll be back.
Yeah.
We can do it without him. He's not that important anyway.
It almost sounded like he believed you.
I think he did. He knows.
Well, what's so crazy, but ever since then, I've just felt things go smoother. It's
they
like
have.
even when we do struggle, it doesn't seem the same. It's odd in a way.
Where did I find this earlier? I need to write some of this down.
But back on the identity thing, me and my wife have actually been watching a show that's basically entirely about that. It's actually a Netflix show.
What's it called?
It's called Violet Evergarden, and it's about this girl, and she is a completely broken, almost shell. And I know what that is to be because that was me as a kid. I was not allowed to be me or do anything, and I always needed to be told what's said to do all of the time. And she goes out and she's like, I need to find out what I love you means.
What did you say it was called?
It's called Violet Evergarden. It's on Netflix.
There's quite a few that are called that.
Yeah,
Which one is it?
it's the show one.
The first one?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. And she goes through and she becomes what's it's called a doll. And dolls, people come to them to express how they feel. And she extremely struggles because she's just very always to the point, and she's what's just brought up being a soldier. And she's like, how do I do this? No. And then over the course of the show, she becomes a complete person. And she does that through the experiences of others and seeing how they expressed and how they got through things that she needs to go through. And what some of the things that what some of the guys says at the beginning of the show is so good. He's like, you don't know it yet, but you are on fire. You're burning. And she's like, no, I'm not. And he says, the things that you have done are like scars on you that are burning you all of the time. And you need to come to deal with these things. And that whole show is almost based on that piece. And for me, I dealt with depression. I dealt with sort of always needing to be told what to do all the time. I dealt with speech issues. I dealt with this. I dealt with that. I mean, I dealt with what's in. I was a teen. I didn't even know how to hold a conversation because I'd never done that. And I learned these three things through experiences. Through experiences that not only I have, but also that I saw other people have too. If all of that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess watching the show, it would.
Especially if you
That
come from
would-
that.
yeah.
If you identify with it.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think almost everybody could to a big degree.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
That's what I have found. I hate to admit it, but that's that's something that is very real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it seems like we have identified what went wrong. So I guess the question is, what are we going to do about it?
Luke, what was that? What we need to do about it is will do about it. Need, will,
Have to.
have to. Luke 13:32. Go and tell the deceiver that I will continue to cast out demons, heal the sick today, tomorrow, but on the third day I will be bring my work to perfection. I don't know what that means, but that's I know what the first part means.
Why is it worded that way? Today, tomorrow, and the third day I will be perfected. I mean, it's talking about, I'm assuming, in prophecy to his death and resurrection. But, I feel like even that applies to today somehow.
It has to, because it says go tell the deceiver. Or Jesus told them. Maybe we should read the context in Luke. Luke 13:31. Jesus' sorrow for Jerusalem. At the very time, some Pharisees approached, saying to him, "Go away and leave this place, because Herod wants to kill you." And he said to them, "Go and tell that fox."
There's a fox again.
Behold, I'm casting out demons and performing healings today and tomorrow, and on the third day I reach my goal. Nevertheless, I must go on my journey today and tomorrow and the next day, for it cannot be that a prophet would perish outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets, stones those who have been sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together, just like a hen gathers her young. That's what you read earlier. Under her wings, and you were unwilling. Behold, your house is left to you. Your house is left to you desolate. And I say to you, you will not see me until you say, blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord.
Mm.
Oh, he's talking about the prophets. Once they greet the prophets, and tell them, blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Interesting.
Yeah. And, that's the crazy thing about now is the most attacked people are the prophets. No, it's like what's in, you go into a normal church and you tonight says what's the one thing you never see and you never hear? A prophet.
So there, this is, I could really appreciate something Randy Clark said, and I just forget the other name he used. He said, in a lot of ways, a lot of these things like prophecy, words of knowledge, things like that, they're in most circles, especially Christian circles, they're so taboo that they want to run you out of town as soon as they hear it. And he said it's like you have a medicine that'll cure anything and everything, but it's got the wrong label. Why not just change the label then? Because he said, and I just forget the word, but he said there's a word that the Catholic Church uses. It's the same thing. They do the same thing as a prophet. They just call him something else, and nobody has a problem with it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Crap. You talked about this once before, and
Yeah.
I ended up looking this up yet. It wasn't Bishop. Wait, was no?
No, it wasn't Bishop.
Huh?
I don't think it was Bishop. What?
No, not Cardinal.
Not Cardinal either.
No, it was something else.
I forget, but it was like that's the most churches have somebody that's named that. They just
It wasn't the deacon.
oh, I don't deacon either. A lot of the denominational churches have somebody.
Yeah, I
that's-
think
that's-
most all Anabaptist churches have this position in
yeah,
there.
and they do that to a certain extent, not to the point an apostle would, but he said you can basically. This is one of those things. Like I know now I'm referencing somebody else, but it's something I want to learn.
Yeah. Well, what's telling me, Paul, in 1 Corinthians 10, I believe so. He like lays all of the stuff out clearly, and it goes prophets, apostles, preachers, and teachers. And it's
I
like
think it is deacons.
and
deacons?
I think it is.
yeah, and you need all of these in the body of Christ, and all make up the body of Christ. So it's like you can't take a piece and say, "Oh, I like your eyes, but I don't like your face, so I'll just only take the eyes out." No, it's like you can't do that.
So that's true, but I think also we as Christians, I think, or yeah, Christians, we call ourselves Christians. I think we should maybe not be so stuck on the word on the name. Like
Yeah.
call it whatever. Call him dude for all I care.
Who we call him, dude?
Prophet.
Oh, okay.
That prophet dude.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
call them whatever. Like because we know, like people will shut down. They will not listen to a thing you say after you say prophet.
Yeah.
Anything you say
Yeah.
after
Well,
that.
because I think a lot of people will, whether they do it mockingly or not. Like they'll hear what he has to say, whether they want to find a flaw or whatever. But in our
but
area,
you can't teach.
I think sometimes you still could. I think it's really kind of the area we live in, which I guess we're still considered what's the Bible Belt, aren't we? I think we are.
Yeah.
So we're still in that, but in our area where you run so much in the way of Methodist, Baptist, some of the more older churches or older denominations in America, that's where we kind of push that out because that's considered, like you said, taboo, a little bit more extreme.
So why not just use different words?
I don't know. Change the name. Yeah. The name's been there for too long. Why would you change it?
I mean, we still know what it means.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know,
saying-
but
I'm just saying, like,
I'm being a smart aleck. That's,
okay,
you know,
yeah, because
it's a tradition thing. You can't just say that.
oh, Hafsazult.
Don't have to result.
Yeah.
It's God's will. You can't change that.
I think a
I wonder
good thing,
if people can hear the sarcasm when I
Yeah.
say that. Probably not.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Otherwise, I might come off stupid.
think a good thing in that too is like people. It's like when I say an angel, no, you think of an angelic being, right?
Right.
But angel actually only means messenger.
Yeah.
The angels are actually referred to as the sons of God. That is the description throughout the Bible, but it got changed in there. And so it's like now it's like I say, angel, it's a good thing. But it has changed over time.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, like, especially when it comes to teaching purposes, where because the encounter would be a big part of that. The encounter is based on like, especially the West Texas encounter, and
Yeah,
I think the
every encounter.
the I think Kansas, you probably don't see it as much, but there's a real push against if somebody talks
The prophetic, the
Yeah.
supernatural.
like everybody shuts down, so you
Yeah.
can't teach on it where it might have some effect, but not
I
to the
think
way
it's,
it
it's
could.
not really the encounter that has the issue with it.
Right, it's the
it's-
people there.
Yeah, it's kind of geography. It's
and
it's
then-
where we're at located.
Exactly. So, and why not just change the wording?
What would you change that to? Like, think.
I don't
Okay,
know,
so
or just-
go
just-
with that for a minute,
Just teach. Instead of saying prophetic, you teach on it. I don't really don't know. Like, what would you?
because that would be the thing. Like, let's say you decided to do that. Let's say you did a teaching. You go up there and you're going to teach on something that would be along the lines of supernatural. Now you have to come across and change that. What would you do?
In a way where it's received well. I don't know,
By a bunch of really close-minded people.
but it's got to be possible.
I'm sure it is. I mean, politicians do it all the time. They make you believe things you don't believe. So
So
I
you're
mean,
saying
it
we
is-
need to hire a
yeah.
politician to
No,
help us?
No, we're not
I
gonna-
think
we're not going to go that far. Like, I don't even mean that jokingly. I mean, like, legitly, think about it.
Yeah.
They could take something that we consider really wrong, and they can word it in a way that sounds good.
Or something really good.
Yeah, or they make that really bad. So it's doable. But it's not something I'm gifted with. I do good in English. I words wise, things like that. My vocabulary, I understand it very well. But when you get into doing that, you're gonna try to take something that's so frowned upon. Like, this is the kind of stuff that the old school churches would, in German, give you Uchlus.
I know.
Like, they
That's why
would
there's
shun you.
There's got to be a way around it. I'm going to try anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to try.
There's a way. There has to be. Otherwise, how do we reach all these people? But we need to find that then.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like to go up there and say you've got 2-3 even guys that come from one of these denominations that are very against that? How would you go out there and portray that? How would you bring a message to them to say, this is what the Bible says. This is what it looks like.
I think a big part of that is you go up there and you know the power of the Holy Spirit, and He can move a lot of that.
I think this is a time where it's not just the power of the Holy Spirit.
You
This is one of
realize
those you see the power of the Holy Spirit,
You realize what it is.
and it might not be any there. This might be a time where words alone are not enough.
No, I would
No.
agree with that.
I think that this is one of those where we have to get back and exceed where we were, because without the proof, there's no
Yeah,
way to
that's-
bring this point across.
that's actually-
that's what I was just going to say.
Yep.
I don't think that we need to worry about how we're going to word it.
That's a very
what
good
it's going to
point.
be.
Mm.
What I think will change the people.
Are you going to wave a jacket, Isaac?
I could.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
That's
mind.
controversial.
No, it's not. It's going to be
I
exciting.
don't. Does it look like I care? What
This is
I
my give a shit face.
what I think that what will change the people's mind is when they see the fruit.
I agree.
I think that's
As
gonna
long,
be it.
as long as it's just
Yeah.
words.
Blah,
Because
blah,
they have
blah.
seen a lot of that.
Exactly. But if they see the
That's why
fruit,
they turned off.
they
It goes
will
right back to what we
change
talked
their
about
mind.
earlier. The power of the word has been demeaned. We've
Yes.
taken away from the power of the word.
Yeah.
No more
Because
time.
thinking about what we have been talking about tonight, how far we drifted from all of that, I think we need to go back to Matthew 10:8.
Find Matthew 10:8. Gargler guy.
I think that's what we have to start to apply to our lifestyle again.
And then
Matthew 10:8. In the Passion it says, you must continually
You already knew where this was going.
I didn't.
No?
Now I do.
I knew it was somewhere in that area. I said, is this what I think it is?
you must continually bring healing to lepers and to those who are sick, and make it your habit to break off the demonic presence from people and raise the dead back to life. Freely you've
Freely receive, freely give.
that one. There's no more drink left.
If I didn't know you any better, I'd start to worry. Is that water?
It was clear.
Yeah.
I'm good. I was just looking for some kind of something to put in my throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's odd. Like, it's so sometimes I notice it's like I really need to talk to somebody about a thing. And then just things will just get in the way, just like crazy. And then it's almost like I myself get this feeling, and I've wondered if it's not correct that they don't want to hear what I need to say to them. And I think that's partly on me. No, I think that's something that I need to get better at. And
Isn't that where you kind of get in your own way?
yeah,
You know, you start to think about this.
Overthink
this, Yeah, you overthink
Yeah.
it. You know, what could happen, what might happen, and all of that. And all of a sudden you're
Pildematting
like,
Jack.
yeah,
I am terrible
bulimic mode. So
about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because really, when a person is in that position, you know, he needs to hear it from somebody. A lot of times, a person needs to hear it from somebody before he can move on, right?
So, but here, and I, maybe this is my answer, but I'll throw it out there. Maybe it fits somebody else. You can ask for help. We were invited to a friend's house, drinking, fireworks, and the guy invited me. His brother was just before we were leaving. He was talking about like everybody's having a good time. We're sitting there talking, and he's talking about how he's got gout in one foot and the other one broken 5 places recently, and like he's got problems. And I felt it so strongly. I pray for him. Not here, I won't,
Mm,
Why?
because it's party time. Like it doesn't fit.
Why doesn't it fit?
It does. That's exactly what's going on. Like it. And
Yeah.
I in myself while he was talking, I prayed like, then I will need the strength to do this because I can't see myself doing it because I really just didn't.
But a
And
year ago, could you?
I did actually.
You did it?
I did. Before I left, I said, can I pray for you? And I thought he was going to shut me down because he is very dicha.
Mhm.
And he said, yeah. And I prayed for him there. I haven't talked to him since, but I hope I hope it's changed. I hope Big Papa took care of him. But it's what I'm saying. Like when that comes up and you're not sure, you start getting your own way.
yeah.
Start getting a little analytical.
Yeah,
Start to think,
yeah,
analyze.
yeah.
the
Start to think.
situation,
Really, you start to
Coming up with a
think.
plan B, plan C, plan D.
You get through the Z, and then you found one A.
Yeah.
Start over again.
Uh,
But
AA, EB.
it worked, and it's not the first time. I remember when Faro Jr. when he first came back from the encounter, and he was going to give a testimony at community church, and we went to Hobbs to church to Lovington, and we made it back
Mhm.
to hear that, and Pastor Dave opened it up for other testimonies, and I felt the urge, like, yeah, not not my church, not my place, not doing it. But it just kept on. Like I felt this urge to go up there and say, like I don't like usually kind of tradition. If you say a testimony, you kind of have a verse or something to go with it. I have nothing. I don't even have a Bible with me. Not my church. Like I'm just here to listen. And I finally said, you know what? If you want me to go, then you'll have to give me the strength. And then I felt like if you push yourself up, I'll take care of the rest. So I pushed myself up, and I don't remember it until I was at the end of the pew. I didn't remember the end getting out of the pew. And I walked up there, and I thought it was a good testimony, or a good little thing.
But that's really uncomfortable when you do that.
But it's so
But-
fun when you push through.
Exactly. If you can just, put yourself aside,
Yeah.
not be in your own way, because I have had
Don't be a
it,
jackass.
yeah, I have had it, where I want to do something and I know this is so not me. I
It's uncomfortable.
yeah, and you just go and you're like, you don't even really know that you're walking actually towards it and you're gonna do it. You're kind of like you're outside of yourself.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the power is, because
Yeah.
then it's not just you inventing this and trying to do this or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like, well, what's you guys are talking about it almost looks like it's programmed in me, because I grew up and like if I did that, oh man, I would get beat and yelled at and that all the time. And I grew up like that for years. And now it's looks like I'm older and I'm not in that place. And now it's like I get these things and I'm like, I should really do this. And then it's almost like that programming comes back
Yeah.
and it's playing back in my mind. And I'm like, I need to shut that off.
But now it's really different, right? Now it's not what it used to be when you were a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the feeling is pretty
Mm.
much the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're an hour 30 already. We're having fun. I lost my train of thought on that. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. I realized that a lot of my reservation on things like that, especially when I feel them, that I should pray. They seem like they're just, what will they think, which basically translates to fear of man. And I've heard this more than once, kind of in me, the Spirit say, I'll take that from you. I can't wait. Maybe that takes some action on my end too.
Yeah, it's like every miracle in the Bible. Everything came with some type of physical action.
Well, that was even like every time this has happened. It was there's some, when I prayed for him, I didn't really feel that I should do something. I just finally I asked him, came out and asked him, and I asked him if I could. I asked him if I could take his hand, and then I asked, Josh, I'm gonna pray for you. But when I said that testimony, it was, I felt if I would push myself up, he would do the rest, and he did, because I don't remember walking through getting myself out of that pew. I just all of a sudden, oh shit, I'm out of the pew. I guess we're going up. But there was just that. There was an action. There was something. But I forget who said this. Somebody said that a lot of times we expect to, I guess, kind of grow up in Christ, grow stronger, that we will hear him more as a voice or a feeling. That's not true, because he says, I will lead you with my keen eye. You will do what I'm looking at, not what I tell you. It's pretty deep. That's growing up. It's not hearing his voice.
Vad är det upp dit?
Yeah,
what might that up teach? I get what you're saying, but I don't think I grasp that.
I don't either. Not yet. But it's something I look forward to. Because that's what I don't remember where it says that, but the Bible talks about, I will lead you with my keen eye, which basically translates into what I look at is what you will have a passion for, and it's what you will, that's how I lead you.
Are you saying he likes Freightliner Classic XLs?
I was thinking Peterbilt.
Nobody really likes
Caterpillars.
Caterpillars we can agree on. Okay.
I think he has a keen eye on Caterpillar.
I will agree. Because I would like to see that. Like, I would like to explore maybe that option a little more, but what is that? That too. I love exploring caterpillars. We're exploring a caterpillar very in-depthly downstairs.
Yeah, we are. But anyway, sorry.
But no, I just what would that actually look like in real life?
No, for real.
Because if we think about, we rely on his word to us. We rely on the Spirit to tell us what to do. If we now go to where I will lead you with my keen eye,
But doesn't that also, if you translate that into, like, let's say somebody you work with or work for, once you know him, like even your dad, once you know him, he don't have to tell you what to do.
He looks at something, you know what he wants.
You know exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
that I see that. That makes sense.
But it's like you guys talking about, you're so like, searching this caterpillar, and I'm like, no, in a way, that's what God does what Sith does. It's like we seal just a useless block on a stand. He can't do anything. But then God sees you can produce 1,000 horsepower and pull 90,000 pounds. You just need this. No. And it's almost like God sees us at that all the time, but we what sent to stay that block on the stand because we see scaled
Man,
of
I
a
don't.
1,000 horsepower. Like, man, that might break me.
I don't. I
I
can't
see where you're
say
coming
one-
from, but I think I'm on the other side of this one.
Me too.
I'm gonna
I
be on
want
the
it.
one that I want 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
I know what it's capable
I want-
of, and
I
I
w-
think it might break me, but I still want to find out.
I want to see. Well, I think
brakes
that's a
will
big part
replace
of
it.
that is breaking it.
I think that's kind of our motto and everything. Blow it up and rebuild, it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say he's probably just waiting for parts. That's why not much is happening.
Are you saying all of our problems were because of COVID?
Back ordered.
Oh, stinking part shortages. No.
Only thing not backwards
Like
is COVID.
I do get where you're coming from with that. I think maybe in some people that does apply 100%, but I don't think it does to this group in that same way
Not
because
anymore. I think that was at a time.
that
When
that
he
might have
first
been 3
told me,
years
That
ago.
was exactly when.
Really?
This guy's false sheet.
Because I know, like, thinking about that now, like, I'm sitting there, if I'm that block, I'm not scared of that
Here we
1,000
are.
horsepower. I know what it takes to make 1,000 horsepower, and I know what it takes to make more. So I think we could exceed that.
So even
But the thing is, I get that you live with the consequences. Like use it as an analogy, an actual truck. A Cat can be built up to 625 bone stock, right? Stock
Easily.
components, 625. With minor modifications, can hit 700, 750. With factory twin turbos on an Acert, you can do that. So let's say you take one of us and call us a bone stock Cat. We're capable of 625 without anything. So let's say we're capable of 625 horsepower in our day-to-day without God. That's without anything. With the slightest touch,
There's
you're
also wear.
capable. There is wear. It will wear you down. Yeah, you will wear down faster. You will eventually break. You will break down faster.
there's no
But-
synthetic oil in there at that point.
Nah, not without God.
No.
But then you do something as small as a tune. Change FLS, FTS settings. The slightest thing is going to increase a little bit. It's going to give you a little more. That's the little bit of the word that you get.
So
As you increase and you learn, eventually we do a single turbo conversion. Eventually we do
injectors.
bigger injectors. Eventually we are in a marine cam.
custom tune.
Custom tune. Yeah, we've done away with that little tune. We've done an IVA. We removed IVAs. We've done away with all the little problematic parts, and we've worked our way up to this 1,000 horsepower. Now we've hit this point where we're sitting here thinking we have really excelled, but we have not maxed out
No,
because that Cat engine is capable of 4,000 horsepower because it's been proven.
we've seen it. Well, but I think the
And
idea.
even at that point, that engine risks blowing up every single time it cranks up, runs down that track.
Yeah.
But that's part of the excitement.
So the idea of leading with a keen eye, actually, there's a very good example of building an engine as well. You now tell the guys what parts to order, what to put in there. Once you've built a few, you don't have to tell them.
No, they should know.
This is what I want out of that. They will get the parts ordered. They'll put them in there.
Yeah.
You can sit in your office and watch it happen.
That's what I have the TV for, to
That's-
watch it happen.
Keen eye.
I get where you're going. Now, see, that's what it up each morning. I got it. That
It
makes
works.
sense. The word tells us as we learn, when we become in line, then he doesn't have to sit there and remind us every single time because what he puts in front of us, we will see the way he sees.
But
Yeah.
it's,
And we will see these problems as they appear. We will know how to deal with them because he's already taught us. Because his sight becomes our sight.
to a point, what Nolan just said, he's right. It scares me a little bit that when I grow to the point that he won't speak to me, but I'm also very excited to see what that's going to look like.
The thing is, I don't think he'll ever quit speaking. I think the words become different.
Why it says keen eye instead of?
I don't think that
words.
matters. I think that means exactly what you said.
I hope you're wrong.
You hope I'm wrong? I don't think I am. It says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you."
Right.
He will always be there.
But
But
it-
as long as he's there, do you know how hard it is when you're around people to quit talking? People don't shut up.
but there'll be one of those. He can be at a distance. You know exactly what he wants. Well,
Yeah.
not physically.
But that
or-
still
or-
doesn't take away relationship. He
No,
will always
yeah. No,
communicate.
you're right. Yeah, that wouldn't really.
I mean, I think he doesn't have to teach in that way anymore.
Farva's leaving us.
Oh, okay. He did a good job.
Thank you, Farva.
So I don't think he'll ever quit talking,
It's-
but I think this
Maybe
applies
that's true.
to-
I wouldn't mind if you don't quit talking and it just maybe kind of transitions.
maybe
into
at some
Keen
point in
Eye.
time that conversation becomes more verbal on his end, not in the way of guiding, but in the way of maybe
Relationship.
yeah.
But if you translate it into, like I said, into this the natural. My old man, like when I work with him on a daily basis, Gary, even for that matter, like Gary, in the morning he would give me the list of machines that were down and the priority they need to be fixed. That's it.
And that makes sense. That's kind of where I think this is going to be. You eventually learn to do what Gary said without him having to tell you anything. His vision became your vision. His
Yes.
sight was your sight. When there was a machine,
His
this was
desires were
priority.
my desires.
Exactly. But that Matt Ford, he gave you crap.
Oh,
The relationship,
yes.
it
I see what
it
you're
will
saying.
change.
But it'd be even more fun.
Yeah, because now he's not having to guide you in that way when you're finally on the path that he
Not hold your
has
hand
for you.
every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
At that point, maybe you
Fine,
can,
you're right.
maybe you can finally BS a little bit, not have to worry about being uptight about if he's gonna be pissed at you.
Sit on needles every day.
Exactly.
No, you're
So
right.
I
You're
think
absolutely
that's a level of growth.
That's absolutely correct.
And guess what? This all stems from identity for one time.
You
Everything
stay-
here based on topic.
What was the other one we had?
I don't remember. I forgot that. We need to keep that for next time. I remember what it is. It's prayer, corporate prayer. No, laying on of hands or praying from a
Yeah,
distance. which-
we're already
yeah.
almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
Better,
so-
Yeah.
better leave that one for next
yeah,
time.
that's a good one for next time. But
Yeah.
this was good because we actually we're ourselves learning a little bit to take the power of our words when we say this is going to be the topic, to stay somewhat on that topic.
Not just that. This was, to me, that I can remember, the most enjoyable podcast I've ever been on.
It's kind of it. We've had a lot of fun ones. This one, I mean, there's a little bit of fun in there, the jokes and stuff that we have, but it's been a lot more on cue.
That
a little
and,
bit where we've
Yeah.
actually got something out of it.
and something we can take back into our life tomorrow and the rest of the week.
Yeah, apply daily and
Yep.
remember.
So,
And we have video proof in case we forget.
yeah.
Yeah. This is better than notes. Remember all the
I-
times we said we were going to take notes and we never did?
I did today.
Oh, you did today, but I mean, like, you remember we had the boards?
We need a whiteboard in here.
We've said that at 3 different locations now.
Fine. I'll get a whiteboard.
We have a whiteboard. It's not white, but
it's a screen.
It's colorful.
that's right. And it keeps better notes. It doesn't mix them up. It gets them word for word.
Even has captions.
There we go.
That depends who's behind the gargler.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, do we want to explore this further? Or finish her there.
I'm kind of good with where we
Yeah.
ended today, but I think this is going to be one we come
I
back
think
to.
we
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
progress
Yeah.
today.
We call this Identity Part 1.
That's actually not
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
because we're
Good
gonna
one.
explore this further.
Yeah,
As we
will.
learn, share what we find, and might not be the next one. Maybe it will be. We'll see.
Yeah, see where it goes, but we just need to make a note. This time it needs to be just today.
Yeah.
Was the first start in our walk back towards our identity.
I still credit this to the one, and if somebody's listening that hasn't listened to the one that we called Back to the Beginning, that's where this started. It was not that one wasn't forced, or we didn't have. It seemed like we weren't just all over the place. And
That
went
was
back
kind
to
of
the
where we
beginning.
were like, screw it. We done screwed up everything else.
Yeah, let's go back to where we
Yeah,
started.
let's find out what happened.
Well, so I guess on that we will finish. I'll just we have next Wednesday will be Bible study, possibly here at Diesel Solutions, depending who wants to show up. I'll have Aaron put it in maybe his number and my number both in the podcast and maybe on the Hope and Healing Center's website. Contact us if you want to show up. We'll if it's more than just us, we'll probably just have it at the Hope Center. If it's just us, we'll probably have it here. But it's not broadcasted. It's just every other week we have a normal guy study, Bible study. So on that bombshell,
Good night.
good night.
Good night.